Hi, welcome back to Hyperstamper channel. It's Laura, and I just had the best journals this week. I'm doing the next set of 10, and I'm really quite excited about this one. It is from the 40s, and it's called Cordelia. And they didn't start doing book jackets until like the 30s and 40s, and so they're not easy to find. This one was in, bad shape, but it was just so pretty. So I left it on its original book, the Cordelia book, and I just added a bit of lace to cover up some of the damaged parts, and I added this really pretty chain here, 4 strips of a two-tone chain, which I just think is lovely. So let's take a look inside this very, very pretty book. John F. Kelly owned this book. So as you know, everything in here is authentic, antique and vintage ephemera, except some of the tea-dyed pages that I added and hand-stamped for your enjoyment. So this is a beautiful landscaping print from an antique gardening book and a lovely children's book page. And this is another, it's a gardening book, but a different one, and that's on making fences. I've got a vintage wine label in here that somebody did not complete or add to a bottle. So that's kind of fun. This is a very, very old and brittle book page. It may come out eventually because it is so brittle. Just tuck it back in one of the many pockets I've added. That's from a 1950s stamp collector's book. You would have glued the stamps you could find onto there. And this is a wonderful little page from the Billboard magazine. And then I have the Joyous Travelers page there, a 1930s French almanac page, and this lovely, look at this beautiful bird image here from a vintage bird book. And it's on glossy paper, which is not easy to find, but you can see it's lovely aging around the edges. There's that French almanac page there. So these are January pages. Pretty is as pretty does. I love that title of this book page, The Joyous Travelers. And over here, I put a little pocket made out of an antique book page and some clusters. But look at this fun playing card, this vintage playing card. I've never seen this pattern before. This is from, it was printed in Vienna. Like, how fun is that? And then up here, I just have an old receipt. It's not terribly, terribly old, but it is vintage. So that's tucked up there. You can journal in the back of that. And that's again on the back of that 1928 Billboard magazine page there. Another antique page pocket, sweetheart pocket. And this one is of Western University. And that one is from the 1930s. And back here from the 1800s, 1890s to be specific, is from Demerset's magazine. And look at these lovely buildings that they are showing here, these photographs. Isn't that pretty? Parliament buildings and religious buildings. They're very, very lovely. Oh, this is from a 1950s magazine on needlework. So I love the advertisements in here. They're just fantastic. And then you've got doily patterns, and on the flip side, more advertisements. Just really, really fun lace and weave instructions. Just a really fun find that magazine was. And this really great 1920s or earlier photograph. And you can tell, you see the reflectiveness there. That was indicative of the very early 1900s. And then I've got this lovely vintage Australia stamp there, and a shorthand page here made into a pocket. 1907 Times print there, piece of newspaper. And this is just a little journaling card that you can enjoy there on a French antique book page, little children's book page here. And this is from 1920s book. And some lovely child over the last 100 years colored it. And I just added some antique book page on the back so you could use it as a journaling spot as well. And this came from this original book here, Cordelia. This was the back of the book jacket. Isn't that cool? So instead of throwing it out when I attached the book jacket, I kept it so you could journal on that as well. And they can continue to live together. So this is also from the book jacket. It's just it was just text, so I flipped it over, added that as well. Look at this great ledger page from 1930. Isn't that fun? I just love it. And another ledger page here. This one's a little bit newer. I believe this one is from the 40s there, and from the 30s. Just got every decade on this page. This one is the 1930s Monopoly card. And then we've got these lovely old music pages here. Some old Monopoly money. I made this little teeny tiny booklet here out of some of my scraps. But what a fun little cover there from a children's book. And just another poems back here. It's just a sheet with lovely, lovely poems from an antique poetry book. That's just for fun. Happiness. Isn't that pretty? Canasta, vintage canasta score sheet for journaling on. And then this is just another fun pocket with all kinds of old stuff on there. Another beautiful book page with the daisies on here. Fleur de lis up here. We've got some more blank pages for you to journal on. And there's a lovely children's book image here, a 1950s bingo card. And you're just gonna, when you get it, every time you turn a page, there's a nice, even if it's the littlest, tiniest little detail, you're gonna find these wonderful little surprises. And I hope you enjoy them. I certainly enjoyed putting them in there. This is from the Polish embroidery book that I have from the 1950s. And that just gives you a ton of journaling space here, or you can add your own artwork or collaging, whatever you like. Glue down some pockets with that lovely print on the other side. And that's a vintage sewing pattern. And this is also another lovely antique book image here. And that is from a history book, actually. And this is a 1930 receipt from Howard's Limited. Isn't that fantastic? That one's from Halifax. And I just love it. And I love the old pen and ink they used and the doodles they made. Oh my gosh. It's hard to part with those, but I know it's time. I'm going to put it this way because it's just prettier. And then I made that pocket out of a vintage book page as well, because it's a pretty little image there. And that is the last page there. So I hope you enjoyed. It's up on Etsy now. And you can go to etsy.com/shop/hyperstamper and subscribe so you get to see these before they hit Etsy. Bye for now.